Now is the time, a time you'll look back on, a time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time, this moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome, take over. The time is now.
We're back, and we're back with another win. Get in. 8 games.
This is becoming a habit.
5 wins from 6. We'll take that.
Woo! Well, how are we? Haven't seen you in such a long time. Feels like I've been missing for ages.
Me too. I've been missing as well.
I know.
Thanks for everyone that sent good wishes.
To all of us. Yeah, thanks for me and Des.
I was out missing for a few days, as people know, due to family bereavement. But back here tonight now, and to talk about a bit of football. Mark, you were out sick.
I did, yeah. COVID, still fucking testing positive, but I don't care. Loads better than I was. And again, like you, listen, everybody that sent me DMs, tweets, and messages, listen, thanks very much. Really meant a lot. Was really, really appreciative of everybody that got in touch. But yeah, I had a dice with COVID. Wasn't too good Monday, Tuesday, but feeling a lot better and on the mend. So hopefully next few days that positive line will disappear. But yeah, bit of a brush, but not too bad.
And fair play to the lads for running some great shows while we were out.
Absolutely cracking shows.
And if you haven't seen them, do catch up. I'll mention towards the end of the show, because we're going to concentrate on the game. And let's get straight into it, lads. I'll bring us through the first half, and we'll stop and we'll go around the house, and then we'll go through the second half. So first up was an unchanged team, and it saw ASM on the bench, and Murphy retained his spot. And I think we're happy enough with that. And actually, Kraft retained his spot as well. And Keogh stayed on the bench. For Brighton, Welbeck started, and Marpe was on the bench. So I know, Pete, you were a bit worried about that, because Welbeck he can be hit and miss. Sometimes he can be unstoppable at times when he's not injured. But great displays in the crowd. War flags out in abundance. Some great flags, and here's a brilliant picture. This one from our friend Chris Waff, and a great view from there. You see the display with the lads, and in UFC. If you look really closely, you can see it there. But and also, the United with Ukraine banner was out, and football stands together was the motto that was on display today. So I suppose it was kind of billed as a Howe versus a Potter game, because we had eyes on Potter at one stage when we were talking about managers' potential replacements for Bruce. So we would see. And in the past, we've got a bit of a hammering, the 3-0 defeats at different stages last year. So that didn't happen today. So let's get straight into the game. I'm going to go to my notes. First off, first minute, there was Willa Cross, Fraser with the volley, and that was in the first minute. Then Duffy came close from a corner. Murphy got on the way on the 5th minute. Then on the 12th minute, the ball from Wood, the dink from Murphy, and he likes those dinks. It didn't work out before. It didn't work out today either, but this time it hit the post, and bang, Fraser followed up and with the goal. So lovely, 1-0, happy days. Our phones were all buzzing at that stage. Talking about that one, we didn't get much chance to celebrate it so much, because bang again. And another goal. Here's more pictures I have actually of the Fraser goal. The free kick from Fraser crossed in, and Shar header. Yeah, kind of for me a mistake from Willock here. Sorry, not Willock. From Welbeck here that allowed Shar to get the kind of free header on that. A few Brighton chances then, and then there was a good chance that they had from Welbeck again. Great save from Dubravka, and that took us to half time. And that's. I'll stop with my little summary from there and get your thoughts on the first half, lads. Mark, we'll go with you first.
Yeah, I thought first while we weren't really in the game, we were kind of getting bossed, which was a little bit worrying. Like if you look at the last few times we've played Brighton, we've not done particularly well. So I kind of had gone for a 1-1 today. Because I thought that they would do okay against us. And obviously worried about the likes of Lamptey. Curacula, I thought had a fucking class game for them, to be fair. Kind of bossed a lot of that down that left-hand side, which was a bit worrying. Up against Kraft, who I thought did okay, but I thought Curacula did really well. He was one of those, I think on one of our shows prior, I called him out as being a player I'd love to have.
Yeah.
And I think he showed today the reasons why I made that call. But we kind of got into it, obviously totally against the run of play to go up. I thought Jacob Murphy was really unlucky, to be fair, that it dinked off the post. Look, another time that goes in. But I thought the ball from Chris Wood was class.
It was.
Obviously, Duffy, was right up his backside, and Wood turned him dead easy, high up the pitch, and played a really good ball for Murphy to run onto. Unlucky not to score, but look, sometimes you get that ball and it bounces off the post and into a defender. The way we're playing at the moment, we're getting those breaks of luck, and the ball went straight to Fraser to bury it. Took the goal well. Second goal, yeah, look, you can kind of probably have a moan a bit about Welbeck and the marking, but it was a fantastic header from Shah. I thought certainly first half with the chances that Brighton did have, I thought defensively our centre-back pairing of Dan Burn and Shah were outstanding. Dan Burn in particular putting his body on the line to block stuff, to get in amongst it, between heads, arms, legs, and everything else he did to stop on the line and everything else. So I thought first half we were pretty much kind of, as it got to first half, I thought we were pretty much in control. But it was a good half. I thought we took the goals well, and I think we deserved to be in front going in at that 45-minute point for me.
Right. Cheers, Mark. Pete, I'll change the question slightly. The first half, as I just for Brighton being 2-0 down, they played well. They were apart from the goals they conceded, but they weren't playing too badly. But your thoughts on the first half, Pete?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of do it slightly differently. I'm not going to focus on the players as such, particularly with the first half, but because the one thing I was watching in this game in particular was the tactical game from both managers, and what we've come to notice is that obviously Brighton have only lost 2 away games before today, so they're a good team away from home, and they play a certain way and style of football away from home. And the one thing that Brighton like to do is allow the home team to have the ball. And the one thing I was thinking is, are we going to be that possession team that we have been under Eddie Howe and allow them to have and allow us to have possession because that's exactly what Brighton want, or are we going to play attacked a little bit differently? And I was really, really impressed from a tactical point of view, and I think we had better of Graham Potter in this first half, which effectively won us the game. In that, what we did is said, right, you have the ball, you have the possession. We'll do what you normally do to other teams, in that we'll hit you on the break. And basically, Brighton, without their best centre back in Webster, who's the best with the ball, who likes to bring the ball out and is comfortable, without him, they really, really struggled. And we were able to stop them playing, but also hit them on the break and hit them hard. And we did it a number of times in the first half. We didn't have the ball a lot, but I thought the way in which we played, it just showed me that there's other gears to Newcastle United in this current state, in that we're not just kind of a one-trick pony in terms of we press high, we want the ball, we're going to attack. It just showed me that there's another side to Eddie Howe, and he performed that tactically very, very well. And that was the difference. Did we play well? Not really. But for me, in that first half, we won the game in that first half because tactically we were right in how we set up, and the players did exactly what they needed to do.
Fair enough, Pete. Yeah, no. Good, different approach to look at it, but yeah, good analysis. Richie, your thoughts on the first half?
I think obviously we started with an unchanged side, which, to be fair, I think it was pretty fair on the team for the performance last week. I know ASM was back in training, and people were possibly wanting to get Bruno in again because obviously they saw how he played for the last half an hour at Brentford. But we said during the week we didn't think there'd be any changes to this side. Like, you don't really go and change a winning team. It's ASM and Bruno are professionals, and they should realise that it's bad for team morale. Yes, okay, they might have to take a hit by not starting the game, but to dent the team morale that we've got at the moment, because at the moment, we see the team pictures after every single game, like the one you'll probably put up after of today's game as well, where they're all celebrating the win and say that they're united and stuff like that. Little things like making changes for unnecessary reasons can change that morale slightly. Some people might not feel like part of a team and stuff like that. So, looking at the first half, your first 10 minutes, I didn't think we started great, if I'm honest. But with the type of players that we've got in our team, we've always been able to counter-attack. We've got a lot of pace going forward. And I actually, with the first goal, I think it's Wood's turn that's before the pass that actually makes the goal. Because if he doesn't do that turn as well as he does, I don't think you get the break full stop. Normally, with a big man or someone, the ball's played out, it can slow the player down a little bit. Like if that was 10 yards further forward, you probably wouldn't have seen him roll his man. You'd have probably seen him hold it and wait for support. Whereas with being that little bit further forward, he was able to roll the guy. And then obviously that pass he puts through for Murphy, it was just inch perfect. It was a fantastic pass. And I agree with what Martin Pete says. You got to look, Murphy was unlucky. He deserved the goal. It was clear. He didn't panic in front of goal. He actually looked relaxed. And it was a really good finish, just unlucky to hit the post. But for once, we're getting the rub of the green, and the ball fell to Fraser. There's been other times during the season like that where it's fell to a defending player, or it's fell to the goalkeeper, or it's gone the other side of the post and gone out for a goal kick. But luckily, right, Fraser, doing what all good forwards should do and follow the ball in, and he well deserved the finish. He's up for Premier League Player of the Month this month. So, he's got a goal, a few assists last month, and he started this month off with a goal and assist again. And as you said, Daz, pretty much, still celebrating from the first goal. And sure enough, we get a free kick on the right-hand side. Fantastic ball in by Ryan Fraser and Fabshar. Fantastic run. And it just, the way, he beats Welbeck all flat-footed. That run, it's a bit like what we did with Joe Linton, we said last week. It's a different sort of run, more to the front post this time, but that's what we were saying when we played West Ham the other week. It's really important to get a run on the defender, because that half a yard can make the difference between a clearance and the ball in the back of the net. We learned that at West Ham. We saw that last week with Joe Litton on Christopher Ayer for the first goal at Brentford, and for Shaw's goal again today. That run, half a yard in front of Welbeck, the front post, fantastic headed by Shaw. And we were pretty, after that, I think we were pretty solid first half, but I don't think we were overly flash. I think Ryan Fraser said it in his interview that he felt as though we possibly went a little bit over defensive and not be as dominant as what Eddie Howe would like it to play, and a little bit of old habits coming back through. But we saw it out to half time, and we thoroughly deserved the 2-0 lead at half time.
Wow, who needs match of the day when you have analysis like this? This is, and we give this away for free, But that's actually reminds me, maybe I should mention to tell people to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done so already, it's the red button on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. As Martin turns off the heater or the fridge, I'll continue on to the second half.
Do you know what it is? It goes mad every time. As soon as I turn the mic off, it's like it quietens down. I turn the mic on, it comes back on. You know what? Stupid epoxy thing. Anyway.
They don't have that match of the day. Right, let's get into the second half. So Brighton, as that Welbeck shot indicated towards the end of the first half, Brighton were up in their game, and they brought on Marpe as well. And then there was, I can't remember the timing, but there was the dunk goal where Wood kind of lost his man.
Oh, have we lost Stars?
No.
I think we've lost Stars, haven't we? Yeah, we've lost Stars.
I know he's back.
Oh, he's back. Is he?
I didn't go anywhere.
He did.
No, well, your voice did and everything.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
All we heard was Dunk got a run, and that was it, mate. So crack on from there.
Sorry. Yeah, take two. Dunk got a run and back of the net. I said Wood lost his man and Dubravka got blocked off. So then, Newcastle kind of were gone to sleep for a while. They then decided to bring on ASM, and ASM came on for Murphy. A big cheer from the crowd, obviously, for ASM. Then later in the game, we bring on Bruno for Fraser. Fraser was gone at that stage. He'd run his socks off. He was wrecked. Then I went towards the later on in the game, we had the Jays, the Jolinton and Cruella. I'm going to call him Cruella. Little scuffle, and J7 got his yellow card. For me, I was kind of pissed off with ASM. The truth, I know he never tracks back, but he came on with only about 25 minutes to go, and he like when he has the ball, he'll run at players, but he never tracks back in any way, shape, or form, or puts in the effort to make some kind of a chase it down. But anyway, then Sean Longstaff on for Willock, and we saw the game out, even though it wasn't pretty in that second half. Yeah, what do you think of the second half, lads?
Go on, Mark.
I was waiting because I turned the fridge off. Epoxy thing. We'll have to get quick now because that's me beer getting warm. Second half, I thought we were a bit poor, to be honest. I think we did enough to get through the game. I thought we wasted probably a couple of chances that we could have buried. I thought ASM coming on, he probably wasn't fit. Not 100% anyway. Couple of good, decent balls to release him. But again, final third, no pass, wrong decision, trying to shoot. So I think, look, it does well to get us up the pitch. And as per the commentary, if anybody was watching BT, it does give the back four a chance to push up and get a bit of a breather. But I think that's all it did. I don't think ASM coming on really did anything else for us. Good to see him back, but I want to see him in full flight. There'll be some tricky decisions if and when we get the likes of Wilson fit and back, and we have ASM and Bruno and a couple of others, because it gives us a lot of choices there. And I don't think ASM is definitely going to be the one for every single game, but that's just my opinion. They scored. I think that was kind of inevitable. I think it was coming. Look, they probably deserved their goal. Again, second half, I thought Kukura bossed that left-hand side. Thought Kraft did a little bit better, to be fair, against him in the second half. He was probably one of the unsung ones in the second half. Defensively, again, I thought the back four, to be fair, the two centre-backs didn't look like they were really going to get beaten. If anybody was to blame for the goal, it was probably Chris Wood lost his man, in my opinion. And didn't kind of follow the run up. But look, Brighton, Pete, I watched away days there with Clory and the guys. Brighton are a good team. Let's not stray from the fact that they are a very, very good team. They're good going forward, very good in transition. Potter is a very good manager. They came with a good game plan. Effectively, they bossed the possession. We didn't really have a lot of possession, but if that game had been 6 months ago, we'd have lost that. Yeah. Without a doubt. So the difference for me is different game management, ability to change up styles, ability to change players or rotate and do stuff and still come up with the win in an ugly fashion. It's massive. The turnaround
Fitness
from
as well.
Eddie Howe and the team. Fitness. I mean, like, I was watching BT and the commentator kept going, you know, sooner or later, the Newcastle middle three are going to run out. They're going to run out of steam. They're going to run out of steam, and then, you know, Brighton are going to come into the game. The middle three are going to run out of steam shortly. You know, it's only a matter of time before Newcastle's middle three can't compete. And I was like, 90 minutes, we're still going. And I'm like, and the commentator's still saying the same thing. You're just like, shut up, you fucking idiot. Like, there's no way that three are going to lose steam. I thought Bruno coming on did well. I'd like to see more time on the pitch for him. I think he will. I think you made a really good point on away days. And the show earlier in the week, I think he will get more game time, probably against the likes of the Liverpools and the Chelseas where we need to hold midfield. I think we'll probably see more time. But look, 3 points, it's massive. Good enough second half to get the job done. No injuries, which is a benefit. And look, an extra 3 points, you know, 6 wins out of 7. Geez, you can't complain, can you? Unbeaten in 8. And as somebody said, Lee Errington, I think it was, text me and you, Daz, we're only 14 points off Europe.
Yeah. There we go.
So there you
Target.
go. Exactly, yeah, that's the target. Yeah, just keep looking up. I think Ryan Fraser said it, keep looking. We got to look up now, not look down. That bottom 3 is nearly done, and it ain't going to be us. So, yeah. Keep us
Pete,
going.
I'll give you the option to comment on the second half or to answer your own question.
Answer my own question.
No, I'm only messing. Go on.
I was intrigued to know what that question was. I've got to be honest. But yeah, look, I think Mark has made a number of good points. You know, Brighton are a good side. Like I said to you, they've only before today they've only lost two games away from home all season. So it's clear that they structure themselves and they set themselves up in a certain way to be difficult to beat. And like I say, they like to have less of the possession and more of the counter-attack and the threat. We didn't allow that to happen. And it was a very different game. And this is why I'm so pleased and so proud of the players, but also so proud of the management team. Eddie Howe being at the top of that is because we've played a different game today and we've still been successful in that. So it shows that we've got more gears to us. We've got more ways in which we can work. So, for example, if you look at the basis of the game, in play, in game, I think there was only really one chance on goal, really, where Welbeck had a shot that was decently saved by Dubravka. I don't think it was particularly troubling. That's the one that he put over the bar for a corner. I think that was really in game one of the only really clear cut chances. So you could only see where Brighton were going to get their goals, and it was going to be from a set piece. And they were playing for a set piece. What we've done as a team, we've built ourselves as a formation, as a structure, as a team, to be really hard to break down in game, because the way we're set up, the way we play, it's not favourable for any opposition that comes up against us, because we are so all action. We do press high. We do put players under pressure, particularly in the middle of the park. I think the middle of the park was fantastic again today. And I think a lot of Brighton's good play was actually out wide because they weren't getting any joy whatsoever. Middle. And that's testament to the 3 midfielders again. And like you said, look, Mark, you made a really good point, is that the commentators you were listening to were kind of almost wanting Newcastle to start become tired, to kind of justify their point. But actually, what they don't realise, because clearly those commentators don't watch Newcastle enough, is that our players are fitter than probably 90% of any other Premier League club at the moment, and that we couldn't say 4 months ago, and that 6 months ago, and that's the big difference in our team, is that we are fitter. Now, the one thing I'll say is out wide we did look tired. Ryan Fraser, I think you mentioned on the chat a couple of times, Mark, during the game, that
Ryan Fraser this afternoon, yeah,
he
looked
that's not down to him not keeping himself fit. It's because of how much work he's
run himself into the ground. He's up and down that pitch.
He does, and on top of that, Brighton knew quite early on in the game that they weren't going to get any joy down the middle of the park, which is why they started playing that wide, which meant that the wingers or our forward, our wide players in a forward 3 needed to work a little bit harder, and I think that's why maybe Daz got a little bit frustrated on the chat towards the end that ASM wasn't kind of tracking back because he did that in games to stop them getting in. I thought structurally we were very good. We played a different style of football. We made it very, very difficult for Brighton, who I again say are very good away from home, to get any type of joy in the game. They got lucky. They got lucky, really, because I think personally, and I said it to the Geordies down south boys in the chat, because they were jumping on Dubravka. We haven't really talked about this, but they jumped on Dubravka for not coming out and commanding his area. And there's a fair point to that. He should have. It was on the 6-yard box. He should have come out, been stronger, maybe took the man out. You know, if he'd have gone up and gone for the punch, he could have got the ball on the man, took the man out, and we'd have still had possession and we wouldn't have conceded. But equally, at that point in time, if you watch the goal back, and there's an actual clip from behind the goal that you watch, in that Chris Wood is marking Lewis Dunk.
Yeah.
And he sees the run, the sideways run, the diagonal run that he makes. He always makes that run, Dunk. That's why he's good at what he does. And rather than stand face on and stop him from making that run, he kind of stays side on, and allows him to run across him. But not just allows him to run across him, he doesn't follow the run. And he almost mid-flow kind of stops himself for the run and just stands there and watch him get on the end of it. And it's like, Chris Wood could have done better there in a defensive situation. I know for a fact, you can't put a foot wrong. He hasn't put a foot wrong really since he's come into the club, Chris Wood. He's been very, very good. But in that situation, he should have been better. And I know for a fact that Eddie Howe will be on him, because Eddie Howe's already said they're in training tomorrow. They're preparing for Southampton. They're not playing no games. This isn't a Steve Bruce Newcastle United team. They are in training tomorrow. And you can bet that he'll be calling Wood out on that and saying this needs to be dealt with better. But this is the type of standard of manager that we've got now.
Okay. Cheers, Pete.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go to Richie next, but maybe we'll kind of go through a few of the players. We're going to be anyway when we're going to be going for a man of the match, but maybe we'll list a few players that were standout over the game as well. But Richie, let's go to you and your thoughts on the second half.
Second half, I thought obviously we weren't nowhere near as good as the first half. I think if you look at the goal, you know, both Mart and Peter writing what they say. You know, even if you look at Dubravka, in my opinion, should have been way stronger. I think there was someone on whoever it was on, like, it might be was it Trossard that was on the line, but he was more like backing in to stop the defender coming out. But because he was so square on, as Pete was saying, what Chris Wood should have been, if he was more square on, it doesn't matter how big you are. If you're square on, it's harder to get round you. So if Trossard could do that for a defender and Dubravka, whereas Dubravka should be strong and then just literally just get him out the way, just barge straight through him and just, you know, take the ball, take the man, whatever. But that's it. Wood should have done that. That little body position, if he's more square on, Dunk doesn't get that run. But to be fair, also, you know, Chris Wood should actually be tracking that run as well. But I think, you know, I saw the game a little bit different. I thought the midfield definitely dominated our three. I think we didn't get the possession and we didn't have any control really in the game. Our right-hand side was definitely our weakness throughout the game. And I think that just goes to show, you know, like when Fraser plays on the right with whoever's, you know, the fullback, you get a lot more protection down there and we don't look as weak. Whereas today, you know, if you look at the rest of the squad and how we're playing, you would say that Kraft and Murphy are probably the two players who are really playing for their position in the squad going forward, and they're seriously under threat. So I think that's why Brighton target that left-hand side. When you've got someone like Cucurella down the left, you've got to be really, really careful, because I know Cucurella's one of Martin's favourite players in the Premier League. You really, really rate him, and he is a decent player. I thought we made him look really good today. If I'm honest, I just thought we were a bit average down that side. But yeah, as the commentators kept saying about our midfield, we're going to get tired because of the constant moving around, because Brighton were moving us around the pitch. You're right, we're fitter, that we're not going to tire in that sort of thing. I think what we needed, though, a change in the middle earlier, just to try and get a bit more of a foot in the game, because the longer the game went on, and yes, it proved, as both of you have said, that we last week we were really dominant. Yes, it was against 10 men, but I think we'd have done that against Brentford anyway. But look at some of the other games that we've won recently. We've dominated. We've looked cool. We've looked calm. And but today it was one of those where we had our backs against the wall. And as Martin said earlier, going on earlier in the season, we would have lost that game. We wouldn't have held on. We might not have even got anything out of the game. But it goes to show how quickly things have turned around, not just in the last since Eddie Howe's come in, but if you look back at the start from the Watford game, we played Aston Villa and we learned from the Watford game that we were able to hang on and dig deep, play as a team, be united. It's not all about sometimes playing nice football at the top end of the pitch. Sometimes you've got to get, deep down and dirty and really dig in to get a result. And that's what happened today. We were possibly hanging on a little bit towards the end. And yes, as Pete said, they didn't really have any clear-cut chances, but they had a lot of possession. There was a lot of balls going into the box that we had to deal with. And pretty much everything that got put in the box, either Burn or Shaw dealt with it. And that's what you want from your centre-halves. And I think that partnership between Shaw and Burn is just absolutely outstanding. And either of them could have been man of the match, for my opinion, today. But to be fair, that performance, how much they dug in, we deserved the 2-1 win. And that 2-1 win, with the way the results have went for us today, was huge. And it was something that we touched on during the week in some of the shows and last week, that 2-1 win, if results went our way, you look at it, even with the way goal difference is now, teams have got to win 3 games realistically on us now to, over the next, 12 games. And there's going to be games where we're going to win. Yes, we've got a little bit of a tough run up coming up. We've got 4 away games. But there's nothing to say we're not going to get any points from those away games. Brighton came to us today. They've only lost twice away from home. So everyone keeps saying, we're not Newcastle. It's Newcastle. You'll get anything. So what? Brighton had lost twice away from us. Doesn't mean it's not going to be the third. And it was the third. Everyone keeps saying, Brighton's our bogey team. I know Martin mentioned it in our WhatsApp chat, but our bogey team and the way they started. And then obviously we got 2 quick goals sort of thing. And, records and stuff like that ought to be broken. We've got a decent run record down at Southampton. There's nothing to say we're not going to get something decent down there on Thursday. And then, Chelsea, everyone said, Chelsea have had a good result at Burnley today, played well second half. But as me and Pete touched on during the week, they've got to go to Lille in the second leg of the Champions League the Wednesday after our game. And Lille isn't an easy place to go to, even though you're 2-0 down. Lille will be right up for that game because they're forming the Ligue 1's turn as well. So Chelsea won't have it all the way. So I wouldn't even rule out getting something at Chelsea.
The thing with Chelsea, though, Rich, is that game against Burnley today, second half, they weren't that great.
No.
Burnley were awful. Chelsea were not that good. I mean, 2 of the goals were absolute defensive mistakes from Burnley that allowed 2 tap-ins for Kai Havertz. I think Spurs, depends which Spurs turns up. They're beatable on the day. But then if Kane and Son click, then we could get punished if we don't have that bit in midfield. But I think we've got enough in midfield to manage that. Yeah. If you can keep that quiet, Kane's playing so deep. He's not playing as an out-and-out striker anymore, really. He's only playing maybe 20% of his game up front. So I'm actually not worried about any of our upcoming games. That's
it, Mark. You've got to look at what you're thinking about. Kane's coming out deeper and he's trying to get the ball, get involved, and he's trying to play these balls over the top for Son to run onto. The difference is, if you're looking at some of the people he's running on against Leeds, the 2 Leeds centre-halves aren't to the same standard as Shaw and Dan Burn. It takes a hell of a ball to get over top of Dan Burn, I'm telling you that. So, in my opinion, you can let Harry Kane come deep all you like. For me, I'd rather have him a little bit deeper than leading that line because he's moving up the front. If you can get a ball into him, he's an England international for a reason. He's going to be up there with one of the top Premier League goal scorers of all time eventually when he retires. So I'd rather have him further back on the pitch than where he's dangerous.
Right. Yeah. And Mark's made a good point as well about you made reference to the midfield. Our midfield on current form in 2022 is miles better.
Is one of the best midfields in the Premier League at the minute.
Of course it is. Not for work rate and for output in terms of what they did during the game. So if they're going to be all action and pressing high and travelling with the ball at distance, that is exactly what Tottenham's midfield do not want to have. You think that Harry Winks is going to get the better of the likes of Joe Linton and Willock in that midfield, you've got no chance. Yeah. Højbjerg, yes, he's a battler, he's a grafter, but actually he likes a lot of time on the ball. Something that Joe Linton and Willock are not going to be prepared to do.
Seriously.
And he's very sustainable to fouls.
I cannot wait to see Joe Linton against Højbjerg. I really can't.
It'd be like what we talked about before with the battle of Declan Rice and Joe Linton there. I think it'd be something similar. But like I think one of you lads has just said, is that, you know, Højbjerg likes to give away a lot of free kicks because he's not comfortable on the board. He's one of those ones where he leaves his foot in, or he'll pull you back. You know, it wouldn't surprise me in the first 10 or 15 minutes he picks up a yellow card, and then he's worried about his game after that because he could potentially get sent off. We have the opportunity to really kind of go into these games with 28 points, potentially by the time that we get to the likes of Tottenham and maybe even Chelsea after the Southampton game, 30 plus points, and we can go at these guys with a comfortable mindset that we don't have to win this game, and we can go out and go, you know what, we're going to play our game, we're going to play how we want to play, which is probably high press attacking football, exactly what Eddie Howe wants, and we'll say, you know what, let's see what we get from it. If we don't win, fine. If we get a point, great. If we get a win, we've deserved it because we've done what we needed to do. And you know, we're going into these games and not necessarily needing to win. We can go to the likes of in our next 4 games. So what, we've got Southampton away, we've got Chelsea away, we've got Everton away, and then I think with the rearranged fixture now, Palace, we have Spurs away.
Spurs away, yeah, that's the next 4.
So they're 4 big away games. So it's a tough 4 fixtures because all 4 of them are away. We could probably get away. And look, I don't think this will be the case, but we could probably get away with maybe getting a draw at Southampton and a draw at Everton, losing to Chelsea and maybe getting a point at Spurs and be sitting on, 31 points after those 4 games. And actually, all the other teams behind us, certainly the ones in the bottom 3, wouldn't have made any significant jump on us in that period of time. And then you've got the likes of Wolves, Palace, Leicester at home, who I think we can get 9 points from, in my opinion. And
Norwich away.
Norwich
away as well. And we're not even thinking about the last game of the season, Burnley. That's way in the distance. So we've got fixtures coming up where we can get points from. So
the thing, absolutely. You could get to Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, those 3 in the middle between April and May. And with other results, plus if we pick up, say, another 7 or 8 points, 6 points even over the next 4 or 5 games, a couple of draws and a couple of wins, you might not even, you might not need to be as much worried about those 3 games. But I'm looking at the fixtures there, and I'm looking at Liverpool at home. I think we can get something off that.
And the league might be over by then.
Yeah, and the league could be over. If we play ourselves right, Arsenal at home, I think we can beat them. City away, listen, we have a good record against City. So I'm there's no fixture that I'm looking at now that I'm going, oh, God, I don't know. We could get a real spanking there. I don't think that's the case anymore this season.
I'm not being funny. It's exactly the same point I've just said about the Chelsea game. When we come out to play in Man City and Liverpool towards like April and May.
Early May. Yeah.
They're going further in the other competitions as well. As we know, Liverpool are going for the quadruple. Sorry, Man City are going for the quadruple. Liverpool are still in with the cups as well to win them. Look to win them as well. If they're still in the business end of those cups, they'll be starting to play the stronger teams in those cup competitions. Well, especially the FA Cup, and obviously when they're in the Champions League, the further on. That's going to be their priorities. The league will be the priority, but they've got squad to rotate. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be playing their best starting 11 when they play us, and it's something we can capitalise on. Our best 11 can compete with, in my opinion, with any first 11 in the Premier League now.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, lads.
I was going to say, Dad, just before you move on, I was going to actually say to the lads, I always believe that you should always you can only focus on what you do yourself on the pitch. But I wanted to know what your opinions were on Brighton when you realised that Basuma, Maupay and Lallana weren't even starting, because I think that they are quite big players for Brighton. But I just want to know what your thoughts were on them not being in their starting, and did that give Newcastle a lift, them not being in the starting 11?
I was surprised with Basuma, to be fair. I thought he may have started, but I think for me it was that I was probably more worried, rightly worried around that left-hand side with Cucurella against Kraft, because I thought he might get torn a new one. Now, he did get plenty of ball, but, he didn't really do anything that was too damaging, but he certainly was allowed a lot of ball. But I think the thing with Brighton, as Pete said, is they're a lot better away from home than they are at home, which is obviously, quite strange. They set up slightly differently at home to away. And, again, I think Pete made the point. Potter's a really good manager. I really like him. And they'll be fine this season. But again, I think we had enough to beat them today. It was a scrappy game. Again, last 15, 20 minutes for me of the second half was fucking a shower of shite. It was an awful game. The ball was just pinging backwards and forwards. Yeah. Nobody was able to keep a hold of it. Nobody could get the ball under control. Nobody really pressed. There's a couple of chances either side. And, when you do then eventually get to that last bit, when, with a minute or whatever of extra time to go, and Brighton pull everybody up, including the keeper, and they've got a free kick. And instead of just lumping it into the box, they play it wide. And I'm kind of going, what the fuck would you do that for? Get it in the box. But they didn't even do that. So there was a few strange things today, for all that attacking, that they had and all the ball that they had. As Pete said, they didn't do anything to really hurt us. And probably the goal that we conceded was as much our fault as it was theirs.
Definitely. The one thing I'll add about the players missing is actually on our away day show, Chloe and Josh touched on the point about Basuma, and that he's been playing awful at the moment. They've been saying he's been one of their worst performers in terms of in the team, which was a big call, and I'd not realised how bad the Brighton fans felt he'd been playing at the moment, and they kind of alluded to the fact that he might be not in the team. So I wasn't necessarily surprised that Basuma hadn't started. And Chloe in particular talked about I can't pronounce his name. The guy that played in centre midfielder, he started ahead of him.
Or something like that.
Exactly, that's the one. Sorry, I apologise. Chloe talked about Alzati potentially starting, and that actually when he has come on and played, he's actually done okay for them. But personally, I didn't think he had a great game. But yeah, it wasn't too much as a surprise. The surprise for me was Mope. Because Mope has scored a goal past us in previous games. And actually, he's a guy that scores a decent amount of goals for Brighton.
He's always dangerous.
At the moment, he is always dangerous. So that for me was the biggest surprise. And actually, that probably went in our favour, the fact that he didn't start the game. Obviously, alongside the fact that Webster was injured. So, it's a good question. It's a good question, but I was definitely relieved at that point. That's for sure.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to give another shout out to subscribe. We've got over 300 people watching. Hit that subscribe button, bottom right hand corner of your screen, red button. You cannot miss it, and it's free. All free. If you want to consider becoming a member, it costs you $1.99 a month, and you get into our member draws. And we'll have another one of those coming up soon. I think, Richie, we have to talk about that.
It will be this week, hopefully at some point. But we'll get Daz on his spinny wheel thing. And then yes, we have to wait for you to come back so you could do the wheel, mate. We couldn't let anyone else take your little role. We know how much you prize it, mate.
That's what I'm here for. That's all I'm here for. Okay, shout out to Brown and BlackandWhiteArmy.com on her clothing range, who Adam in the chat, she will be back on with us again. Don't you worry, mate. We'll get her back on again. Also, shout out to Shy Barnes. I know Simon is in the chat. And Martin, talk to us about Shy Barnes.
Yeah, geez, I should have put the t-shirt on tonight. Yeah, obviously, Simon, good range of quality, top quality clothing. Actually, t-shirt got really, really good. He is obviously branded up as Shy Barnes, trying to sell what he can, but everything he does, he puts 10% off of every single sale that goes towards men's mental health. He's working with a partnership there that does everything in and around mental health and helping mental health charities. Something, as we've said on numerous shows, that me and Richie is something very, very close to me and Rich. So get on to shybairns.com, buy yourself something good, and Jeff, man, such a wrong
Jeff, always lowers the tone, Jeff.
He does, yeah. Getting into your members' drawers is not a nice image. Well, it depends. Richie doesn't wear any, so that's probably even worse. According to Daz. But yeah, get on to Shy Bairns.
Thanks, Mark.
Get on to Shy Bairns and get yourself a t-shirt and a cap and a few other bits, and send some money towards a couple of mental health charities and stuff for Simon and for us guys here. But yeah, get on there and get yourself some good gear.
Cheers, mate. But I say that I don't wear drawers, but I think that's going to affect a lot of men's mental health images and probably all the women in the chat as well, mate. So,
exactly.
Well done, mate.
If you want to go commando, Richie, that is your business.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need to know.
And if you would like a print of that, we do know a good crowd. Richie, tell us about pins and prints.
Pins and prints.
That's a link in. Beat that out and deck.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the Irish Ant Deck linking, isn't it? Dear me, bloody hell. Yeah, Pins and Prints, Dean, he's doing a fantastic job there. Obviously, they've been on board now for a few months. We first saw the Kieran Trippier print. Obviously, Daz made it to my attention because of the I predicted the goal before it went in, and that's how we got talking to them. And yeah, but there's some fantastic other ones there. You obviously just see the Papa Cisse one that was just put up there. There's some other ones on there, They've got Tiote's goal against Arsenal 4-4. There's Philip Albert's. There's Alan Shearer's against Everton. There's another one there, Alan Shearer. You might not want a goal. You might want the shirt of your favourite player, which I know they are going to start doing a few more of. Or you might have your kit combos, a couple on there as well. And we know that this is Pete's favourite. And this is Daz's fantastic new tattoo design for the end of the season when he breaks it and Joe Linton breaks into the World Cup squad. Or you could be like
player of the tournament and top goal scorer.
I want the long Robert one, Rich. I have
put it to him that there's a few that the lads want and they hasn't got them on show yet. But yeah, I've seen a few sneak peeks of a few other little draws there as well as that he's going to be putting out. So it's some nice stuff there. But as I mentioned the other day, the draw that we've got on from Pins and Print, it's actually one of their limited edition pins that will be given away. He's got them back in stock. He's got the backing cards there. And as I touched on the other night in Talk for Tune, that it is going to be a Jonas Gutierrez limited edition pin, and it's the one where he scores the goal against West Ham the season we stood, where he wheels away with his shirt. And also that someone will be getting that free of charge as a loaded giveaway this week at some point.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to move because we're going to take man of the match nominations, and there'll be a few, I'd say, and we'll look at the league table. So first of all, what a performance for the team today. And as we always, when we win a game, there has to be a team photo, and another class photo with the team united, everyone in there. And if you zoom in on Dan Byrne with his kids, there he is. There's Dan Byrne with young Fraser and young Target there as well. If you zoom in,
I don't know whether anybody else knows this, but I actually looked at the picture today, and I did realize obviously Kieran Trippier is there. Obviously, you can see with his crutches and stuff like that. And there's a few of the other like Fernandez at the back. One thing I did notice that there is no Callum Wilson in that picture. Now I don't know if anyone knows if he's away for treatment or whatever, but I just thought with having Trippier there and Fernandez there, who are obviously not on the match day squad because they're dealing with injury at the moment, I just thought it was a little bit interesting if anyone knew the reason why Callum Wilson may not be there.
Apparently, he's in France in a chill chamber, wearing his jewelry on his mobile phone.
Conspiracy theory. Here we go.
I love it.
So there we go. You've heard it first from Martin in the know.
Callum Wilson hasn't been on any of them. Yeah, he hasn't been on any of those pictures. And actually, funny enough, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first time he's actually tweeted out.
He did,
he's actually quote tweeted the actual
first
team.
one I've seen.
This is the first time that
since he's been injured. Yep.
Now, I don't know Callum Wilson, but I kind of like, a player that's at your club, you kind of study them and watch them over a period of time. Obviously, listen to his podcast. He does them with Mikel Antonio, and I wouldn't expect Callum Wilson to be in that picture because I think that kind of picture actually hurts him. I think that picture hurts him. The fact that he's not in that picture. I don't think he would be in that picture unless he felt he'd earned the right to be in that picture in terms of what he'd done on the pitch. Because he's not playing at the moment, I don't see Callum Wilson in the type of character he is to be sat in that picture celebrating with the boys. I think the only time you're going to see him in that picture is when he's on the pitch contributing to the team and getting results for Newcastle to kind of earn the right. That's the kind of character Callum Wilson is. So that's why I don't see him on that picture. Now, it's an interesting one because, obviously Fernandez, I think last minute was told he wasn't part of the squad because obviously ASM and I think one other had come back into the squad, which meant he sat out. So I think he was Fernandez is fit and ready to play, so he's always going to be on standby, which is why he's in the team photo. For me, I see it as a surprise that the likes of Kieran Trippier is in the picture. That's the anomaly. That's not the norm. That an injured player on crutches like Kieran Trippier is in the picture. When a player is injured, they might still be in the stadium, and actually, in a number of games recently, Callum Wilson has been in the stadium watching the game,
in the box,
the boys, but not necessarily in the changing room pictures with the boys. So, I think that's kind of like, I think the fact that Kieran Trippier is doing what he's doing recently and being a part of the travelling squad, home and away, is actually the anomaly, and I think fans in general seem to think because Kieran Trippier is doing it, that everyone should be doing it. And actually, that's not the case because players don't tend to do that. They tend to stay away, get focused on getting fit, and then be a part of those kind of stuff when they're fit and raring to go. So, like like I say, that's just my opinion. But I think the thing with Trippier as well, Pete, to back that up, is Trippier asked for special permission to remain with the squad and attend training on the sidelines and go to the games and different bits and pieces, and that was granted by Howe. So I think you're right. I don't think there's anything untoward with Wilson or anything else. He's obviously doing his as much as he can to get returned back. And listen, we obviously want him back as soon as. But it's I think it does show the caliber of Trippier, the fact that he's been handed the captain's armband a couple of times already. And the fact that he is in and around the coaching staff and with the team in and out, and that he's probably given as much leadership off the pitch as he was doing on the pitch. So, but yeah, that was definitely something that I've seen a few times now. He did ask for special permission to be at the ground and be involved, which Howe granted, as far as I'm aware. So
it's all right, lads. Jeff Carter's actually just come up with the answer. We ought to know why Callum Wilson's not in the photos.
What did Jeff come up with?
There, solved. You see,
there you go. He's a photographer.
Jeff Carter is Miss Marple.
Just to finish off from that point of view, what Mark says, and this is my personal opinion, the fact that Kieran Trippier has asked for that special permission, I think that I think that that's Kieran Trippier telling the team, the squad, the management, that he wants the armband next year. You don't go out of your way the way you're doing right now in terms of you're injured. You could be at home with your family, resting up, watching the game on the TV, or even just coming to the stadium and watching it in the back. The fact that you're emphasizing the point that you want to be with the players in the changing room, that you want to be on the sidelines, that you want to be in the changing rooms taking pictures after the game because you've won a match, tells me that he's emphasizing the point that he wants to be captain next season. That these last couple of weeks, him doing that has made it clear as crystal to me that that's what he wants next season. He wants to be the captain of Newcastle United moving forward, and you know what? He 100% deserves it.
Yeah, and he's also living in a hotel with fuck all else to do.
Yeah, so just to conclude on that bit, so watch out, Serena Taylor. Callum Wilson is coming for you, so he wants your job. Yeah. So let's go back to what I tried to start about half an hour ago now. Is man of the match? Yeah, I have about 5 names I want to throw in for nominations. I throw Joe Linton, another battling warrior performance. I want to throw in Chris Wood for his first half performance. It was everywhere. He hasn't scored a goal yet, but he will. And but his work rate was second to none, and lovely through ball to set up the first goal. I want to shout out to Fraser, who is not getting my man of the match, but he scored a goal and got an assist, so he's a contender as well. Then it was between two. It was between Byrne, baby Byrne, Dan Byrne, and Fabian Schär. And I was very tempted to give it to Dan Byrne, playing against Brighton, and it was kind of funny as well. He was looking for a yellow card for Dunk at one stage as well. But I decided to give it to Schär. Schär was my man of the match for his display, Batman's display, and he scored a goal as well. So Schär's my man of the match. Martin.
Yeah, look, I think I thought for the time he was on, I thought Murphy played well as well. I thought Fraser was absolutely a candidate, but very similar to you, I think for being under the cosh for a good portion of the game, the two centre-backs for me stood out massively. But the fact that he got a goal and really led the line well and seems to be growing stronger and stronger and stronger with Dan Byrne alongside him, I'd give it to Fabian Schär. I thought he was awesome today.
2 for Schär. Pete.
Just before I say my man of the match, Chris is clearly on the ale tonight. What is this?
Schär was my mom.
Worm.
He's corrected it, but I'm convinced that his missus is put that as a correction, because I think he's
He's had too many fucking Lambrinis. He has.
Oh shit, Lambrinis! I forgot about them. Jesus.
Well, tell you. There you
go. Man of the match for me, goal and assist, Ryan Fraser. Has to be look. I say it has to be. It doesn't have to be. You could argue that there's a number of players out there that deserved it. We had a number of really good performances out there on the pitch, but Ryan Fraser, goal and assist, up for Player of the Month, fully deserved. The way he's talked about the club recently and the way he's talked about the management, and Ryan Fraser's really give us an insight in his interviews on how things are going behind the scenes and what things are happening behind the scenes. He did it again today in this interview for Newcastle United's official website. I'm sure we'll see something similar for Match of the Day. He is epitomising what Newcastle United is on the pitch right now in his performances. And there were so many people this time last year that were hammering him, and rightly so to a certain extent. But I always had a feeling that he would come good under a different manager in a different situation. And Eddie Howe has just got the best out of him. If he can continue with the goals and assists, or one or the other, we've got a real player on our hands at 27 years old. He's still yet to see his peak. But today, in particular, he did what he needed to do in order to win us the game. So, man of the match has to be.
Good job, Pete.
Fair enough.
Now, Richie, are you going to level it up? Or are you going to go for someone different? Or are you going to make it 3-1?
Well, put it this way, right? I am going to go for someone slightly different, but I can completely concur with the reasons why you have gone for who you've went for. Fab Schär's been fantastic recently. So's Ryan Fraser. And to be fair, this channel has been saying for months and months and months that you look at what they were like under proper coaches when Bruce was in charge. We always knew when we had a decent coach come in who could work with a Swiss international, a Scottish international, who were both Premier League experience or La Liga experience, and would get them returned back to her. They have been like two new signs, along with people like Joe Linton as well. And to think you get Ryan Fraser for absolutely nothing. We got Fab Schär for 3.5-4 million or something. So you look at that, it's a 3.5 million outlay for two international players who are absolutely playing out their skin for us at the minute. So I completely, agree with the reasons why you've said. And at the end of the day, I could have picked them as well. But I just think I have to give it out there to the whole hometown boy. I just thought Dan Byrne was fantastic today. And once again, everything that was flung into the box, him and Schär dealt with. But the reason why I'm giving it to Dan Byrne is there was a block in the first half where, and I think the commentator actually said it if he wasn't 6'7", he wouldn't have got the block in. And I think that block alone, because of the timing of when it was in that half as well, it was just before half time, it could have been one of those moments where it could change the game. And as we saw, the momentum sort of changed after half time and Brighton came out with slightly, the better side. What's to say that obviously that Lewis Dutton goal could have been an equaliser and the result could have been different. So that's the reason why I'm going for Dan Burn. And just before we actually move on to the next bit, I just wanted to go to a comment that's come into a chat from Ian Barron. He's our Darlington fan who's always in the chat and gives us support. But he just wanted to let us know that there was 25 minutes of injury time at the Darlington Blythe game today due to a medical incident with a Blythe supporter who collapsed at the ground. So we just wanted to pass our regards. Thanks, Ian, for letting us know that. Obviously, a local supporter as well, a North East supporter. So just as a channel, we'd like to pass our thoughts on the family and hope that the supporter is okay.
Way too many of those happening now.
There is, yeah.
It's starting. It's worrying the amount of that we're hearing about now.
Why?
Yeah.
A big question.
I would like
Why?
to think that the FA are doing something about it, or certainly doing some research into why this is happening, because it's happening far too often in Premier League grounds. You think last season, obviously we weren't in stadiums, but the season before that, before COVID, this wasn't even an issue.
Never
you
heard
go
of
back
it.
30 years, it wasn't an issue. You get one maybe in 10 years. Now we're seeing one or two every week. This is not okay. But, I absolutely 100% agree. Ian Barron
It's one of those things, like you should not be going to any kind of event, let alone a football ground. And, those that obviously the ones that we've heard of that didn't make it, you shouldn't not be making it home from going to support your team in any fashion, whether you're, alive or otherwise. It's absolutely heartbreaking. The same with the son that passed away there the other week. Like we've seen a few now with heart attacks and stuff like that. Like it doesn't matter what colour jersey you wear. No. Like we're all just fans at the end of the day, and heart goes out to the family. So hopefully,
have you heard it happen? Have you heard it happen in other sports?
No,
neither have I. That's kind of a bit weird as well. Okay, on that sad note, let's move on to the league table and have a look at that. So where we are now, here's the table. There's a few tweets going out about comparing to where we were about 7 weeks ago to where we are now, because we were down 19th or so, and now we're up to 14th on 28 points. 28 points after 26 games. So that's brilliant. Thoughts on the table, lads? Norwich look
14 points off Europe.
Yeah, 14 points off Europe, and like 5 points off 10th spot. And we do have to play Palace, and we'll be playing Leicester. But look, for me, it doesn't matter. Once we stay up, I don't care if we even still finish in 17th spot. Once we're safe, it doesn't matter for me. But thoughts on the table?
Yeah, look, compared to 10 games ago where we were, I mean, commentators on BT again today mentioned nobody has not got anything from their first 14 games of a Premier League season and stayed up. I think you'll find that the black and whites are about to prove that wrong.
Yeah.
Because we will.
Well, Mark, you're absolutely right. I think I tweeted out earlier. I put a tweet out about Eddie Howe and how we were performing before Christmas, or certainly in the build-up to Christmas, and how all the pundits, everyone in the media, had given us no chance, no hope whatsoever of staying in the Premier League after this point. And actually, it was talked about that at Christmas, the points total that we had at that time, I don't think there's anybody previously that's actually stayed in the league with our points total at that point in time at Christmas. And yet we are now 7 points clear above the bottom three. That is outstanding. That is an outstanding piece of management with that coaching of players during that short, very, very short period of time to get us not just out of the relegation zone, but out of it by 7 points and looking like we're not even in the conversation. I put it on one of the shows the other day in that actually, I think it was Talk of the Toon that we had with Jordan Cronin. And actually, the Premier League have been tweeting out the bottom 6 as the relegation scrap, and we're not even part of that.
Yeah.
The fact that they've tweeted it out and put in the fact that that's the relegation scrap, the bottom 6, and we're not part of it, has everything you need to know about what the media now think, what the Premier League now think about the fact that Newcastle are no longer considered a serious club that are at risk of relegation. But the one thing I just wanted to add, so we've got this league up that's currently there now, and obviously we're on 28 points, 26 games gone. I've just put something in our brand with regards to where we were last season. And this is where we were last season at 26 games. So we're actually 2 points better off. And actually we're 3 places better off than where we were last season. Now you think of where we were before Eddie Howe took over this football club. And we were like destined to get relegated. And all that does is emphasize what Eddie Howe has done as a football manager at Newcastle United, that we were dead and buried when he took over. But he's now actually not just took us out the relegation zone and up to 14th place. He's actually bettering the points total that Steve Bruce had this time last season. Yeah. We were on a worse run. We didn't win a game until around December time, late November, early December. We'd not won a game at that point. So what Eddie Howe has done between December and March 2022 is just unbelievable. And I asked the question on Talk of the Two, and I said, not necessarily that is he going to win it, but should Eddie Howe keep us in the league and get us to a respectable position? Should he be in the talking and in the consideration for Manager of the Year? For me, 110%, he should be in that. From an impossible position, comfortable in the Premier League, fingers crossed, we're in that position right now. There is no one else in the Premier League, apart from the top managers that are likely to win it, that should be in that reckoning and in that talking for what he's done to this football club.
I agree with you, Peter, and we touched on it the other day, but I think one of the reasons why he has to be in with a shout is because he's done what he's paid for. He's coached players. Yes, okay, he brought 5 new players in January, but you've got to look at what he's done with the players that he already had, and you could see things starting to get there. Slowly, and we didn't have the rub of the green, and I think you still had a lot of after effects from the Steve Bruce era coming on, sort of thing, where going back to old typo and stuff like that in the early days of Eddie Howe. But I think if you look now, especially since the turn of the year onwards, you're really seeing what this coaching does, how he's getting all the players in the squad, even all the staff behind the scenes as well. They believe in what he's coaching and how he's bringing those players. That's what he's paid for, and that's why he should be in with a shout of being, Manager of the Year. Because you look at Pep and you look at Klopp at the top end, their squad are hands down, miles better than pretty much every single other team in the Premier League. So they should be up the top of the table. So if Eddie Howe can get us being from where we were when he took over in November to a respectable position, especially with the football we've been playing since the turn of the year, that hands down, he should be in with a shout for Manager of the Year because he's done what he's paid to do.
It makes it does make a bit of a mockery for those fans that called for his head after the Cambridge loss.
The FA Cup was never our priority, though. The FA Cup was never our priority.
Next season, though.
Yes, next season,
of course. But both cups next season. But guys, Richie is absolutely right. And actually, you know what? Going out of the FA Cup has probably not been a bad thing for us.
We said it on the show afterwards.
Never is.
We said it on the show after the reaction show, and we said, you know what? No harm in it. As much as other people were clamoring about it, we were 100% right.
Yeah, it was a hangover from the Ashley era until we get up and running and what's Jeff saying now? Look, we'll have a run of the cups next year as well as try and break it into that top 10 in the league, because we're going to be staying in the Premier League next season. So let's talk about, as we bring the show to an end, let's talk about what one of the shows we've coming up on Tuesday, because we have to plan the rest of the shows, and we have a game midweek as well. So yeah, let's talk about, Pete, you talk us through what's happening on Tuesday.
Yeah, so we've got a new guest coming to join the Loaded team on Tuesday, and it's the Chronicle's own Andrew Musgrove. He's really looking forward to coming and joining Loaded on Tuesday, talking all things Newcastle, but in particular, we're going to be covering the first 100 days or the first 100 days plus of Eddie Howe. So we'll be covering Eddie Howe, and we'll be looking at how Eddie Howe has performed as Newcastle manager. We've touched on it a little bit tonight, over the course of the last 4 months since he's been manager of Newcastle United. So really looking forward to talking with Andrew Musgrove. We're obviously with the Loaded lads. It's been in the pipelines for about a month now. We've been talking for about a month, ever since the Kieran Maguire show, actually, that we had, the first Kieran Maguire show. We've been in contact with him. So managed to find the time where we're both available, us Loaded lads and Andrew. So yeah, it's really looking forward to chatting all Newcastle United with him.
Cool.
I think if anybody wants to have a prior watch, if anybody, because obviously the topic is Eddie Howe in the first 100 days, do go back to a few months ago when we did the Howe handover as well. If anybody wants a little bit of an insight to how Eddie Howe works, we got someone from Bournemouth as well who had watched them from years from the League Two upwards. It's well worth it. It gives you a lot more of a background history to Eddie Howe as well, like you might not have seen over the last 100 days or so. So go back into our content. You'll find it there. The Howe handover. It was a fantastic show. And it just gives you a bit more of a background to what we'll discuss when we'll have Andrew on Tuesday night.
Definitely.
Cool.
Around the November show, I think it is. With Tom Jordan, great guy.
Oh
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Just as well, if anyone has missed it, check out the shows from midweek with Chris Waff on one of the nights. I think it was Tuesday, and on Wednesday the lads met with Jordan Cronin, and of course there was the Way Day show with together BHA and Chloe. So yeah, those are some shows to look back on, and that's it, lads.
That's it.
What's it? I'm getting slagged off again. At least it's not about my hair. It's about my voice this time. So that's it. That's our half an hour review show. That lasted 1 hour and 12 minutes. Yeah, we're getting better at this, lads.
But that's good. I mean, we've done it in an hour.
For money, though.
We've done it in an hour and 12. If me and you hadn't been on Daz and Richie, it was just Richie and Pete, that would have been a 3-hour fucking session. Although I did watch the show the other night. Apparently it wasn't Richie that was on with Pete, it was Chris, because he called him Chris twice, which I thought was fucking hilarious, by the way.
And the other thing is,
I held off. I didn't text you, Pete, which I
Hey, look, honest mistake. It was actually referring to Chris Waff that was in.
It was so funny. Richie held his piss for at least 5 minutes after you said it, and I could see it in his face. I was like, "Come on, dude, just say it. Just drop it in there, lad. Just drop it in." In fairness, boys, I have to say, obviously, while I was dicing with COVID, the shows were brilliant and gave me something to watch. And I watched all of them and other shows. I watched World of Sport yesterday with Baz and a couple of others. I've been watching a lot of shows while I've been man down. And there's some great content out there. But our shows, I really, really enjoyed the stuff that you guys put out, in particular the stuff with Chris and stuff. It was a fantastic show. So well done, you boys, for doing those without us. Thanks very much.
Nice one, lads. And if we wait another 5 minutes, lads, we can. Chris Hall will join us. He's usually running a bit late, but sorry, Pete. You wanted to say something else before we close out?
No, I was just going to say, obviously we did a number of shows over the course of the week, but in particular, the show with Chris Waff, Daz put some fantastic slides together that me and Richie used, some really detailed slides with links to the shows that we've done previously, that shows that we've talked about some of that content before, as the examples are on the screen. So massive shout out to you guys. And look, we always say, as well as the crazy amount of memberships that we've got, I'm looking at Chris, Adam, Brian, Paul, there's many others, Jeff, Terry, alongside all the other members. We are a loaded family. We do it all together. So we do it all for we do it all for us. We're all Newcastle fans, exactly equal, exactly the same.
For the fans, by the fans.
Exactly. This is what we do.
That's what we do. That's
Right.
it.
That's it, lads. We're now an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, these shows are free and you do get value for money. Right. Good night, everyone. Let's leave with a bit of a how.
How?
Go on, Pete. We won. You have to do it.
Oh, God.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you Tuesday.
Take it easy.
Good night.
See you later.